Alrighty. Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for attending the Committee of Adjustment meeting, and I'd like to remind everyone as we get underway that this meeting is in person and online through Zoom and is being recorded. Everyone online will be muted with the exception of committee members and staff. All comments and questions are to be directed through the chair from committee members, staff, and the public. I'd like to remind committee members that you must speak into the microphone so everyone online and in person can hear you. For those attendees that are online, your video picture will not be displayed. You will be muted and will not be able to unmute yourself during an application that you have not requested to attend unless you raise your hand. At the beginning of each application, I will call the applicant forward. The owner or applicant in attendance may come to the table to your right to speak with the committee. This microphone is live and you must speak into the microphone. If the owner or applicant is online, you will be unmuted. Committee will ask for comments from the public during each application. Please provide your name and address for the public record. All comments, questions should be directed to the chair and only speak when it is your turn. If you are in person and would like to speak to the application one at a time, you may approach the podium and speak. This microphone will be live. If you are on the video portion of the Zoom meeting and you'd like to speak and your microphone is muted, please click on the raise button hand located in the bottom of your screen. Staff will notify me that you wish to speak. If you're attending by telephone and wish to speak, please dial *9 to raise your hand, which will signal staff that you wish to speak. Once a decision has been made concerning your application, you're welcome to leave the hearing while the committee continues with the next application. The members in attendance today are Catherine Graham, Bruce Craig, Paul Veenstra, Todd Robertson, and myself, Jim Keogh. Our staff in attendance are Senior Planner Lindsay Lambert, Planner Kyle Peel, Secretary Treasurer Amanda Werner McKellar, and Planning Student Nick Carter. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do any committee members have any changes they wish to make?
None.
I have none.
No. No, sir.
Okay, nor do I. So we need a mover and a seconder to move by Catherine, seconded by Paul. Moved by Catherine, seconded by Paul, that the agenda be adopted as circulated. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I am also carried. Minutes. The second item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes from the April 29th, 2025 meeting. Any committee members, any changes, suggestions?
None.
None.
No. None here.
Nor do I. Once again, we need a mover and a seconder. So moved by Bruce, seconded by Todd. Moved by Bruce, seconded by Todd, that the minutes of the April 29th, 2025 hearing of the Committee of Adjustment be adopted as circulated. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I am also carried. Is there anyone with a declaration of interest, pecuniary or otherwise, for any of these today?
I have none.
I have none.
No. No.
Nor do I. So first on our agenda today is application D13-2025-017-855 Coyote Lane. Amanda, would you confirm if they're here? Yes. All the rest of it?
Yes, the owner is online. So I'll just read the purpose. The application is requesting variances to the township zoning bylaw to permit an accessory building, a storage shed that is 9.4 square meters in size. The accessory building is proposed to be located within the minimum required 30-meter setback from the high water mark of Gripen Lake and the minimum required 30-meter setback from a seasonal or permanent wetland.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Kyle, would you give us your report, please?
Thank you, Chair, and through you. So this application is seeking relief to permit a storage shed to be located within the required setback from the high water mark. Due to the topography of the subject lot, there are limited options for the proposed storage shed to be constructed in a zoning compliant location while remaining accessible for waterfront related storage uses. Further, the official plan notes that the placement of small storage facilities within the 30 meters water setback is supported where they are a reasonable size for the intended use and suitable methods to minimize negative impacts on surface water, riparian lands, and the littoral zone are incorporated into the design of the development. In this case, the structure is of a reasonable size, and the CRCA have submitted comments noting no concerns based on their consideration of natural hazards. To conclude, the application has been found to be consistent with the applicable policy tests and the policies and regulations of the land use planning documents associated with the township. As such, planning staff recommend approval of this application per the details and conditions enclosed within the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Amanda, any public comments that we've received?
Yes, we received comments from the Conservation Authority. The recommendation was that recommended that the proposed development be relocated further upland outside of the area at risk to natural hazards. However, staff have no overall concerns with the relatively low risk proposal for natural hazards and regulatory perspective, and therefore no objections. We received no further written public comments.
Thanks, Amanda. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak to this?
We have no one online and no one in the public looking to speak to the application.
Okay, thanks, Amanda. Okay, committee members, any questions for the applicant?
I have no questions or concerns.
Bruce?
I have no questions or concerns. The application makes sense and that the structure is going to be primarily used for marine accessories. So I have no issues.
Paul?
Yeah, no, I'm good with it.
Todd?
Nothing here.
No, nor do I. So, I guess we're ready to move. We need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Catherine, seconded by Paul. Moved by Catherine, seconded by Paul, that application D13-2025-017 be approved, subject to the conditions as included in the planner's report and the decision of the committee. We're ready to vote.
Yes.
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 And I am also carried. Second on our agenda today is D13-2025-018 1641 Blue Mountain Road. Oh, Amanda. Give us your.
If the owner is here and would like to come forward to the table, they are invited to. But I will read the purpose while we get started. The application is requesting a variance to the township zoning bylaw to permit an above-ground swimming pool that is 42 square meters in area with an attached uncovered deck, which is 13 square meters. The swimming pool and attached uncovered deck are proposed to be located within the floodplain zone. The floodplain zone permits uses accessory to a residential use located on the same lot, excluding buildings. The proposed swimming pool and attached uncovered deck meet the definition of a structure per section 2.181 of the township zoning bylaw. Section 3.32C of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum setback of 5 meters from the floodplain. The application is proposing a setback of 0 meters to the floodplain to facilitate the construction of the above-ground swimming pool and attached uncovered deck in the location denoted on the proposed plot plan.
Thank you, Amanda. Kyle, would you give us your report, please?
Thank you, Chair, and through you. So as noted, this application is seeking a variance to the required 5-meter setback from a floodplain. In this case, the structure is proposed to be located entirely inside of the floodplain. The subject lot is largely zoned and designated as floodplain, with only a small portion of the property on the southwest side of the lot being zoned rural. When considering development in the floodplain, the official plan notes that no buildings or structures shall be constructed or enlarged, and no site alteration, such as filling, grading, and excavating, shall occur without the written permission of the CRCA. In this case, the CRCA have reviewed this application and have provided written confirmation noting no concerns with the location of the structure based on their consideration of natural hazards and regulatory policies. It is further noted in the official plan that development and site alteration shall only be permitted on lands within the regulatory floodplain where certain conditions can be met. Those being that floodproofing standards are met, new hazards are not created, and existing hazards are not aggravated. No adverse environmental impacts will occur, and vehicles and people have a safe entrance and exit. While the proposed above-ground pool may not fully comply with standard floodproofing requirements, its limited scale, temporary nature, and minimal risk to life or property reduce its potential impact during a flood event. The structure is not intended for permanent occupancy and can be removed or secured in advance of a flood, thereby mitigating risk. As such, a degree of flexibility in applying floodproofing standards is appropriate in this context. The CRCA have submitted written comments noting no concerns with the proposed development, and access to the property is from the front of the lot, whereas the swimming pool and attached uncovered deck are proposed at the rear. With this noted, the application has been found to be consistent with the applicable policies and regulations of the land use planning documents of the township, and planning staff recommend approval of this application per the details and conditions enclosed within the staff report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Amanda, any other public comments?
I'll receive the comments from the Conservation Authority with no objections, and we received written public comments from Addison Brennan and Neighbor with no objections. And that's
Thank you,
all.
Amanda. Is there anyone in attendance today that wishes to speak to this? Sure. Okay, yeah, very good. Committee members, then, any questions? Catherine?
I have no questions or concerns. This is an ongoing improvement to a property that the owners have improved significantly.
Yep. Bruce?
I have no questions or concerns, and I think it should be noted that the house was probably built 100 years ago before any of these regulations were in effect. And I think it's, managed to coexist quite favorably within the floodplain.
Yeah, Paul?
Yeah, no, I have no issues. I second guess whether that's even in the floodplain when I looked at the site. I don't know how updated that mapping is but anyways, I would suspect that if they went out there with the level that find out that's probably clear of the floodplain.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Todd?
I have nothing to add. I would echo those comments and no concerns at all with the application.
Nor do I. I kind of concur with Paul. I've been living around here for 45 years. And I mean, that was a farm and most that was used. So I didn't realize it was in the floodplain. So we need a moved by Catherine, seconded by Todd. Moved by Catherine, seconded by Todd, that application D13-2025-018 be approved, subject to conditions as included in the planner's report and the decision of the committee, and we're ready to vote.
Sorry, Jim, I'm sorry. Before you vote, did we ask the public for comments?
Oh,
No, we did not, because I did not do my thing.
okay. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak to this? I did actually ask, and she said she didn't.
That's true. Yes. I failed to say that there's no one else looking to speak to the application, just for the record.
Okay, there, for the record, now we can vote.
Yes.
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 And I am also. Carol? Yeah. Yes. Okay, last on our agenda today, but not least, is application D13-2025-019-116 Selton Road. Amanda, will you give us your spiel here?
Yep. The application is requesting a variance to the township zoning bylaw to permit an above-ground swimming pool that is 42 square meters in size. The pool is proposed to be located within the minimum required 30-meter setback of the high water mark of a watercourse that coincides with the subject property.
Okay, thanks, Amanda. Kyle, give us your report, please.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. So this application is seeking relief to permit a swimming pool to be located within the required setback from the high water mark. In this case, development will encroach no closer to the high water mark than existing accessory structures located on the subject property, and the area required to facilitate the proposed development is limited in size and scale. Further, to limit any negative impacts related to the chemicals and water used in association with the swimming pool, staff have included a condition that requires any water and any chemicals used in connection with the swimming pool be disposed of at a location setback from the water body in order to prevent runoff and or the introduction of foreign materials into the water body. The CRCA has submitted concerns noting the CRC have submitted comments noting no concerns based on their consideration of natural hazards. To conclude, the application has been found to be consistent with the applicable policy tests and the policies and regulations of the land use planning documents of the township. As such, planning staff recommend approval of this application per the details and conditions enclosed within the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Amanda, any public comments on this?
I will receive the comments from the Conservation Authority with no objections and no further written public comments.
Okay, thanks, Amanda. Is there anyone in attendance in the audience that wishes to speak to the application?
We have the owner in attendance, but we have no one else looking to speak to the application.
Okay, thank you. Committee members, any questions? Catherine?
I have no questions or concerns.
Bruce?
I have no questions or concerns either.
No.
Todd?
None here, sir.
None here either. So, once again, we need a mover. Moved by Bruce, seconded by Paul. Moved by Bruce, seconded by Paul, that application D13-2025-019 be approved, subject to conditions as included in the planner's report and the decision of the committee. We're ready to vote.
Catherine, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And I am also carried. Okay. Bring up the other business. What do you want?
I can bring it up to tell you that the next item on the agenda is discussion of small accessory structures within 30 meters of the high water mark. However, staff have been working on the report for you, but we don't have it ready yet and finalized. So if it's okay, we're going to push that discussion until the next hearing in June, but we should have everything ready for you, and then we'll be able to post it online as well for the public. Okay. Yep.
So,
Todd had a question.
To that point, when you mentioned posting it online for a public group, is that for review, awareness? And is that pre or post review by the committee members here?
It would be at the same time as the committee members, like we'll post it as part of the regular agenda. So it may only be a day or two before the hearing.
So it'll be posted as part of this agenda, not as a separate document.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll just fall under the discussion section like what we have for the agenda for today.
Okay, thank you.
next. We need
Mhm.
to adjourn. Moved by Catherine, seconded by Paul. Moved by Catherine, seconded by Paul, that the committee adjourns to meet at the call of the Secretary Treasurer. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Yep.
And I am also carried. We're done.
Thank you, everyone.